Well, I just got out of the theater of watching. So I will be diving into my complete spoiler-free thoughts. Let's jump in. Alright, here's my general opinion on the movie. First, I gotta say, it's fantastic.
Say that again?
This movie was quick. It was quick, okay? It was like Superman. It was very comic booky. However, it's refreshing, especially for Marvel recently. Like Thunderbolts, it does have sort of a dark undertone to it. However, there are some really satisfying, wholesome, and enjoyable moments throughout the film. And I would just say overall, it's a total blast that anyone can enjoy. Now though, I want to move on to each character and give thoughts about them. First off, Reed Richard. He was the standout of the film for me. I honestly think that Pedro Pascal, great performance. We had no reason to doubt him. Even though he does get cast in a lot of things, there's a reason for that. He's an amazing actor. He is, in my opinion, the reason he's a standout. I think he's the main character of this movie. There's so many interesting choices that he has to make versus law and reason and love and his family. Also, his stretch powers, they use abundantly, and they're not scared to use them. I do think they could have been used a little bit more creatively, but good on that front. Sue Storm, on the other hand, was a character that had been hyped up throughout the marketing. Well so. Her power set is used very creatively. You know, someone just going invisible isn't that much to work off of. However, the film makes it work. The relationship with each member, whether it be her brother Johnny Storm, Mr. Fantastic obviously, or especially Franklin Richards, overall, acting from Vanessa Kirby, killed it, embodied the role completely. Now, speaking of embodying a role, Johnny Storm, he was very funny throughout the film. He was comedic relief most of the time, and he did get that. Joseph Quinn especially, I think, is a great actor, and it was fun to see him from Quiet Place Day One, which is the last time I saw him. Also, I really like how this film explored another side of the Human Torch that we don't typically see. Usually he's just a funny character, but he does have an intelligent side of him. Next, there's Ben Grimm, better known as The Thing, who, great acting. I know Evan Moss Barak. I hope I didn't butcher his name. Mostly from The Punisher, which isn't much to work off of, but here, he's great. His powers are used less than I expected, but when he's in action, incredible. And I would say the CGI looks good. I don't think it's questionable, as some people say. I think it works. And I do want to talk about Franklin Richard, because, this guy is powerful. It's clearly stated through the film. There's a few moments where you can really tell. No spoilers, of course. And I would say that the plot just revolves a lot around him. You obviously know from some of the marketing that Galactus wants Franklin, and it's a big crux of the film. So, go with that character. Excited to see what they do with him in future installments. The Silver Surfer, I liked her character much more than I thought I would. Going into this, I was just like, oh, Silver Surfer. But she had some great moments. She was war farming half the time for some reason. And her relationship with Johnny did not go how I expected it would. That's more spoiler territory, but still, great character. Now, this is the big one. Galactus. He was intimidating. People talk about, oh, he looked too small in the trailers. You do not feel that way. When you're watching him on that screen, he is huge, massive. He has such a presence throughout the film, even when he's not on screen. And that voice is just so crispy. Incredible acting. Only negative I would say for Galactus is, he's not in the film as much as I wanted. That's how good he was. I wanted to see more of him. Great villain, though. One of the best Marvel's had in a long time. Now, further into the movie's vibe, director, visual effects, I think the direction is really fun. It's comic booky. It's like Marvel's Superman, if that makes sense. And throughout the film, there's this really upbeat beginning that introduces you to their world in such a fun way. And then there is such a drastic vibe shift once the plot gets introduced and characters just go much more depressed. Incredible. And I would say, honestly, the VFX looks great when the camera's still. I do think sometimes it can be going so fast, everything looks cartoonish, which to me personally isn't a negative. I don't really nitpick CGI that much, but I know to a lot of people that can turn them off from a movie. So, what's my infamous out of 10 ranking? I'm going to go with this. I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. Now, if this is lower or higher than you expected, remember 5 out of 10, in my opinion, is average. When comparing it to Thunderbolts, in my opinion, is on the lower 8. Fantastic Four is on a higher 8. Now, I do want to talk about the future of the MCU with this. I obviously can't dive in too much because it's more spoiler territory. However, I do think Marvel's in good hands after this. This is one. Having two back-to-back great films is something that they can't really say they've had for a while. My only nitpick would be that it doesn't really connect that much with like the Doomsday. I do feel like we're a little rushing in the Doomsday, but it's fine. The Russo brothers can make it work. Maybe. Anyways, thanks for sharing your time. If you haven't seen the movie, check it out. If you may love it. And if you feel free, leave your comments down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. By the way, if anyone cares, I might have a spoiler video out, might not. Just depends how the wind blows.